died.
For reasons that people don't know until today, Ada was attacked by many mysterious illnesses when she was 7 years old that were enigmas in her time, which meant that she was bedridden for many months and health treatments wouldn't work on various occasions. Ada was never able to see her father throughout her lifetime, and when she was 8 years old, the embalmed skeleton of her father was repatriated to England, where Ada was present during the wake of her father, the Lord Byron, who apparently died from a fever on the 19th of April 1824 in Missolonghi, Greece, at the age of 36 years old during the War of Independence between Greece and Turkey.
And the trip started.
Before the death of Byron, poet and influencer of the British heritage, Annabel felt free to travel outside of England with her daughter Ada, who is now 10 years old, with them crossing the English Channel, touring Europe and getting to know about recognizable and important cities and sites. Ada returned to England with an insatiable wish and fantasizing about wanting to fly like a bird one day, and she was determined in constructing her own wings, in which she would use to observe the aerodynamics and form in which birds fly, exploring her passion, which she was permitted to study, to deepen her understanding in the art of flying, in addition to that in her attempt in creating a machine to fly. She analyzed different materials such as feathers, silk, and paper. She investigated and experimented the possibilities and the means for humans to fly, constantly taking notes on her discoveries and new knowledge, creating a specific book on this subject, which she called Flyology.
At the age of 13 years,
Ada was unexpectedly attacked, this time by 2 diseases simultaneously, polio and measles. The damage from both diseases were no balance, and the danger did not cease for a period of 3 long years. Her legs were temporarily paralyzed. Ada was forced to move around on crutches. However, her only entertainment was reading, consuming every book that came into her possession, transforming it into wisdom, obtaining the virtue of starting to speak languages such as German and Latin, which kept her mind occupied, with one of her sayings being, "The more I study, the more insatiable do I feel my genius for it to be." And Isabella, her mother, decided to stimulate Ada's interest in science and technology even more when the two traveled through the most industrialized regions of England, where Ada was able to admire the most innovative machines of the time, such as the Jacquard loom, a mechanical loom invented by Joseph Marie Jacquard, which had already started using punch cards for its operation. In Ada's youth, she met the Queen of Science of the 19th century and the first woman to be accepted into the Royal Astronomical Society, the famous Scottish Mary Somerville. Mary was a mentor, tutor, who motivated and inspired Ada by influencing her mathematical and technological development. Thanks to Mary, through Ada, I heard about Charles Babbage, a mathematician who will come later. Ada and Mary met through education and the scientific circle of the time.
Mary Fairfax, Greg Somerville, the 19th century Queen of Science,
better known as Mary Somerville, was a Scottish scientist, writer, and scholar. Self-taught in her training, she studied mathematics and astronomy. Her second husband, William Somerville, a doctor and lover of science, the tireless defender of her work, provided her with contacts and information, becoming her greatest motivator and supporter. She became a fervent suffragist and was one of the first to sign the mass petition to the Parliament to give women the right to vote. She was a great public advocate for women's education. Her astronomical studies contribute to the discovery of Neptune, which has an asteroid and lunar crater named in her honor. Mary Somerville was the first woman to stay at Trinity College, Cambridge, as a guest of honor, with an immense legacy and a respect earned in life. Somerville College in Oxford endures in her name, in testimony of a scientist who didn't have formal resources or academic support. This refers to the fact that at that time girls and women were only taught to read and were educated in domestic tasks like a normal lady at that time, if she was of the upper class. Mary was a member of several societies and academies and was awarded the distinction of Patron's Gold Medal awarded by the Royal Geographical Society.
At the age of 17,
Ada was introduced to King William IV and Queen Adelaide at the royal court during the debutante ceremony. At this time, Ada was already considered an adult, which meant that she was able to marry someone, have children, and be able to attend social gatherings.
the Duke of Clarence became King William IV.
During his youth, he served in the Royal Navy under the nickname the Sailor King. During his reign, reforms were promoted, such as the revision of the New Poor Law, based on a welfare system for the poor and vagrants, the democratization of municipal government, the restriction of child labor, and the abolition of slavery throughout the British Empire.
Fun fact:
The Duke of Clarence had a mistress and partner for 20 years with the Irish artist Dorothea Blunt, better known by her stage name Mrs. Jordan, known throughout England as the woman with the most beautiful legs ever seen on stage. They had 10 children who received her surname and were the only living children of the king. These stories are repeated in royal families, an example today being Grand Prince Harry and the famous actress Meghan.
Queen Adelaide
Was a prudent woman who was free of scandals, loved by the English for her modesty as well as for her 4 tragic pregnancies, in which some of her children were stillborn, and others died at birth. Queen Adelaide was popularly recognized for her countless charitable works, building schools and hospitals for poor children. She opted for the greater presence of women in British public life, becoming considered today as a precursor of British feminist movements.
The city of Adelaide in Australia, which was named in her honor.
On June 5, 1833, it would mark a place where in Ada's life she met her mentor, a great friend, Charles Babbage, and between the two of them they collaborated and exchanged ideas mutually, and science brought them together as the father and mother of computer science.
We have the mother, Ada Lovelace. Now with you, the famous father of the computer, Charles Babbage.
Mathematician, inventor, philosopher, mechanical engineer, and professor of mathematics at the University of Cambridge. He was the creator of the first mechanical computer, and from which he eventually gave rise to the creation of more complex electronic designs, but always preserving the basic essence of his initial creations. He also stands out as the creator of the first printing machine in history. He was a well-known figure in London and is listed among some of the greatest polymaths of the time. Babbage had on display his differential engine called the jewel of every mechanism. Because of this innovation, the British government financed the construction of this machine, but unfortunately it was never completed. This money was equivalent to building 2 ships of those times. This machine performed complex mathematical calculations, worked on its own and without any human help. Ada was fascinated, but she saw more than a machine. She saw the future of science and technology. Charles was impressed by Ada's intelligence, allowing them to understand each other, and they created an intellectual bond and began conversations about mathematical topics through letters. In 1835, at the age of 19, Ada was invited to a party where she met an aristocratic man named William King, who was 10 years older than Ada. He is a good-looking and shy man with similar interests to Ada and enjoyed her company. Annabella stimulated this relationship by allowing Ada and William King to get married in July 1835.
William King, Ada's husband.
He was the eldest son of Peter King VII, and he was a scientist, a lover of nature and agriculture, and he had an excellent education. In his beginnings, he worked as a secretary of diplomatic services. He inherited a title of Lord in 1833, and later he was made Viscount Oakham and Earl of Lovelace. In 1838, Lord Lieutenant of the County of Surrey. In 1840, a position he held until the day of his death. He obtained the rank of Colonel for the 2nd Royal Militia of Surrey in 1852 and resigned it in 1870, when he was appointed honorary colonel of the regiment of the 3rd Battalion for the Queen, Royal Regiment of the West in Surrey, a position he also held until his death. Ada and her husband spent their honeymoon at William's favorite home in Ashley Combe, Somerset. But suddenly, out of nowhere, Annabella, Ada's mother, kept a secret. She possessed a mysterious object that was always above the fireplace, covered by a curtain made of velvet with gold threads. Annabella's order was clear to all the inhabitants of the house, and under no circumstance could any member approach it. There have been stories heard that the servants heard whispers or saw small lights come out of this object. When Ada got married, her mother Annabella sent this mysterious object to her daughter Ada. It was then that on this dark afternoon, with an air of a storm, Ada locked herself in the rest room and took the courage to reveal the unimaginable. Slowly, she was removing the velvet curtain with hands that for some reason did not stop shaking. To her surprise, and it was the most beautiful gift that Ada obtained in her marriage. For the first time in life, Ada was able to observe the portrait of her father, the Lord Byron. At the same time, she discovered and could verify that her protruding chin was a genetic trait inherited from her father. Do you have any questions?
What is a polymath?
A polymath is a person with great knowledge in various scientific or humanistic subjects.
I want to be a polymath!
Everything is possible in life, woman. If you make an effort and study with discipline, you will achieve it.
Why do some kings do good things and others don't?
It is a very difficult question to answer, but I can tell you that if one day you have the opportunity to make changes for the good of our society, you will be remembered as a good woman. I also remind you that our history has thousands of villains who have used power for their benefit are bad. And for that reason, the good will always triumph.
Do all women inherit the chin from their father?
It is possible that there is a high percentage of being born with a chin similar to their father or mother, which is a genetic trait, but just feel proud to look like you.
Where's the honeymoon that all newlyweds visit?
It is not a place. Honeymoon is a romantic saying. The story goes that couples on their first night of marriage, they look at the moon and feel the sweetest moment of their life, which they interpret as a honeymoon. I'm sure that the day you get married, you will find out, but for the moment, focus on your studies.
Why was Charles Babbage not able to finish the differential engine?
There were several drawbacks when it came to continuing in the construction of the differential engine, such as it being too ambitious and expensive of a project. The knowledge and advance of that time was a great barrier when building each piece of the puzzle with complex specifications that people in their time did not understand or have the technological force around the world to turn the project into reality. This proves that sometimes we have the tools, but due to a lack of evolutionary understanding, we are simply not prepared to execute them.
¡Ay, ay, ay!
Mujer,